Hello, welcome to the RPG Rundown. I'm Seth.
And I'm Jeff. From Dungeons to Deep Space, we've got the systems and the stories for your table. Today on episode 8, we're chatting all about the TTRPG things that we've received and learned about since our last episode, including a few Kickstarter things that Seth has. But then we're going to kind of be deep diving into the Game Master's books of the ones that we have, the ones we love, and the ones we're looking into. Make sure you stay tuned
Absolutely.
because our next playtest is the Avatar Legends RPG starter set, and I don't know, I'm pumped about it. So if you want to stay up to date, make sure you catch that actual play when we do it. Make sure you're subscribed over at youtube.com/@rundown actual plays.
Absolutely. And we'll show off the box, but we won't do a full unboxing of it. We'll do that later in probably in the play session as well as and then in the next episode, we'll give it a review. So,
Yeah, exactly.
awesome. Well, Jeff, today let's talk about a few things that we kind of started talking about last week,
Yes.
but I didn't have them in hand until literally the days following our last episode. So, first, one thing that I know that I mentioned was I had ordered a Humblewood rule book that was a misprint, and it was only on sale for $9,
That is
which is
awesome.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
I received it. It is amazing.
I love the artwork
The
on Humblewood.
artwork is so good. And honestly, there's a page of errata in here already. So
Okay.
any changes that they made, but then the artwork and stuff in here is fantastic. It's
So
it's
good.
not, even though it's quote unquote not the right color, it's
Yeah, it
still
looks
it's
great. I mean, it
still
looks
it's still
great.
fantastic. Yeah. So nothing about it seems out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
But yeah, got that. And then another cool thing that just happened was that literally a week ago, or after we already had the our last episode,
Mhm.
they added the Humblewood book and campaign setting to D&D Beyond.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
if you, they've been increasingly adding third-party
Hmm.
content on D&D Beyond, which I think is only a fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hit Point Press now has that on D&D Beyond,
Mhm.
which is amazing. Besides Critical Role, there's some other things on there. There's some good resources that are third party, and it says by Hit Point Press underneath them when you're looking at sources. So
Mhm. Oh,
that's
very
really
cool.
cool that is in there. It is also on Alchemy RPG.
Okay, that's nice.
Um, at least I think it is, because I'm pretty sure that I have it.
Okay, that's
I'm not
awesome.
sure. If not, or maybe I have like a starter version of it or
Have
something.
you
So,
used Alchemy RPG in the last little bit?
uh, it's been a little bit. I've been
Okay.
paying attention to their updates. They are
Yep.
not out yet in full 1.0,
Okay.
full release um, of the system, but they are getting very close, and they have a lot of
Hmm.
improvements since I've done it last. So I am
Okay.
looking to
I
probably
am
get
looking to
back
to
to it.
switch back to it at some point, which anyone who's actually watching the
Well,
video, I'll show a glimpse of
absolutely.
what this TTR or this VTT looks like. It is stunning. It
So
truly
good.
is.
It really is.
Best
And
looking
it's
VTT I've ever seen.
oh 100%.
Yeah.
But what's awesome is I did since our or well, I guess I did before I received our most of my Kickstarter rewards for the Alchemy RPG.
Mhm.
And so I got a whole bunch of the campaign settings and stuff like that were promised in there. So yeah, I've got a lot of digital tools already in that VTT, and I'm excited to use some of them. So, but yeah, so that's one thing that's awesome.
Mhm.
Another thing that I got. I know that I mentioned it,
All right.
but this is a very special thing that I got. Sorry, my camera's trying to focus on me moving around.
Yeah, you're good. It is. It's following you around.
That's okay. It'll switch over here.
Yeah.
Come back over here.
No.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. But NTSD Gaming which is North to South Design Gaming. They're out of Texas, but I got the rest of my Kickstarter rewards for it, so I will definitely be putting together like some unboxing and a review of those products. And then honestly, I am in contact with one of it's a husband and wife couple, and I think that might be able to get an interview or something with them.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Which would be fantastic. Yeah. But so I have a DM screen. It's a vegan leather DM screen, but it's magnetized. And so one of the things that they hadn't quite got finished before Christmas was a magnetized dice tower. And so it actually awesome. Fits onto the
So it just
DM
goes on
screen.
The DM screen. That is cool.
That's awesome. Love that. And then something that is honestly, besides the custom DM screen, this is the second best thing of their Kickstarter, and it's their bag of holding, essentially.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's their cool little design logo.
Man, it looks like such high quality stuff too.
It's so high quality. It's got a really nice, smooth strap with a really thick padded leather shoulder strap as well.
Yeah.
Tons of pockets.
Yeah.
Tons of pockets. Also comes with a dice bag, which is fantastic.
That is cool. Yeah, it just straps right onto the bag.
Yeah, it has loops for maps as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
man,
like I said,
really nice.
That review will be coming later. So super pumped about that. My camera again.
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic receive, absolutely. Also, speaking of things digitally, I received gifted from a friend, I received a digital version of the Lancer tabletop RPG.
Okay.
And so, definitely adding that to the list of things that we're going to try later. So it's a futuristic mecha TTRPG, and it's really cool looking.
Yeah, I just pulled it up here. That is neat.
And then obviously, like I said, we've got the. Well, hold on. Before we get to this, I did get this, and this is it's not quite the TTRPG, but
okay.
It's D&D. It's Wizards of the Coast, Dragonlance Warriors of Krynn. It is a massive box. Okay.
That is a massive box.
It's a game. It's like a board game.
Okay, yeah.
But it does come with 6 miniatures. It comes with 6 hero miniatures. So this, along with a couple of other Wizards of the Coast items, I heard were at a local discount store called Ollie's.
We have an Ollie's one town over.
And they are very steeply discounted. This box, according to what it says, retails for $100. And I got it for $9.99.
That is, I mean, truly, like, you probably pay that for 6 minis.
Oh, I mean, I would pay that for 1 mini or 2 minis, on a good day.
Right.
So the fact just the 6 minis
on mine. I clearly not know how much it costs.
Right. Sorry. So just the honestly, it's probably 1 mini would be like one heroic mini would be $10. So just the minis alone are worth.
When did you get that?
$10. Last week.
So there's a solid chance my Ollie still has them.
Oh yeah. My Ollie's had.
I'm going in this.
They had a good 10 or 12 of those boxes. The other 2 things that I was looking for they did not have are the NPC and monster tokens that have stickers that you can like. So they're like flat tokens. I think they're like blue, black, red, and yellow, and they have stickers with images from like the monster manual that you can like put on them and take off. I think they're reusable.
Yeah.
And so I would love to find that one. The other thing that they have supposedly is the tiles, the Wizards of the Coast tile sets, the GM's tile sets and the GM's NPC tokens. Those are the two things
that comes with that game. Is that what you're saying?
No. Those are just they're random products by themselves, but Ollie's
gotcha.
is supposed to have them.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well, I'll have to go look around my Ollies. It's not.
Yeah. So if you have an Ollie's, check it out. You might find some random D&D stuff. Yeah. And then lastly, before we dive into our discussion for the day, the Avatar Legends RPG starter set box.
I'll say I'm really excited for that. As someone who hasn't even fully watched Avatar, I'm familiar with the world, and I'm super excited to play the TTRPG.
Yeah, 100%. So we will be unboxing that and diving into it in our next actual play. So now, moving on to our main topic for today, we are going to be discussing the it's a series of books, actually.
It is.
Called the Game Master's Book Series. So it's like Game Master's Book of Astonishing Random Tables, or Game Master's Book of Non-Player Characters, or Random Encounters. Yeah. And Jeff and I both have a few of these books.
We do.
That we both collected separately. Not enough, yeah. I didn't even realize how many there were.
I did not either.
But, so I actually had the NPC book from last year. Great book. Yeah, however, sometimes I don't want to take directly from what they have in there, and I want to like tweak something or whatever. But I've used a few characters from there, and it is a fantastic resource.
They're very like in-depth characters as well. So a lot of times I'll tag them with like a little post-it or something, so I can reference back. But I kind of use them as like drop-in characters. Yeah, sort of a template. Like, okay, if I need a sheriff for this town, I'm gonna base. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is where my sheriff was based off of. This is Briar Diamond McClure. And it has, his wants and needs, his secrets, what he has on him, and I just kind of use that as the template, even like the little visual. It even has like a stat block and stuff, but I kind of use it as needed. I use different little pieces of it to build out the characters.
And I think the stat blocks are for 5e.
I think the stat blocks are for 5e, I believe.
But the characters themselves, and then some of the other books are definitely can be system agnostic. Yeah. So like this one right here, this is the one that I picked up, and this is what generated our conversation today, really, is the Astonishing Random Tables.
Yeah, that's top of my list to get right now. That one's so good.
I found this at Target, and it was only $17-18 with tax.
That's awesome.
At Target. And honestly, if you don't have a Target near you, they are also on Amazon.
They are same price, $17 on Amazon.
Yeah, but this thing, this I feel like is probably for me going to be the most useful one.
Yeah, I mean, because you can use it in every single session.
Every session. This one also, so like the NPCs, like I said, I feel like I'll create NPCs that fit my story sometimes myself, but maybe I'll take some of the features of one of their NPCs.
Right.
However, at the same time, I don't always like just copying a character verbatim from something like that, especially since my world is a homebrew world, and I'm trying to somewhat customize it.
Right.
This book, however,
I'll take a character like that, and I'll change something like if it's taking place in one of the places in my world where certain races are common or uncommon, you can change the race and still keep some of the features and stuff. Yeah, you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, customizing it would definitely be more. But there's also, just to name some of the other books, there is the Book of Villains. There is also a book of, what is it, Fantastic Dragons?
Yeah, so here, I can show real quick. I have it pulled up. There's the Game Master's
Legendary Dragons.
Yeah, the Game Master's Book of Legendary Dragons. I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but I have all 9 of them pulled up on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't really show it on the screen since it. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one that looks like really good is the encounters one,
Hmm.
and then the traps.
The traps and puzzles.
Traps and
Yeah.
puzzles, I feel like would be good.
Hmm. And traps, puzzles, and dungeons. But something to keep in mind too in all of these, and this is kind of a use as needed, but I'm pretty sure every one of these books has 3 like one shots, which could obviously be plug-in adventures into your campaigns.
Absolutely.
And so all the one shots will be using whatever they're showcasing. So, the one shots in the Legendary Dragons book will be showcasing some of their dragons or draconic creatures.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, because this is the one that started the conversation, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about it because it has stuff for world building in here that is
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
It also has session building tables.
Okay.
There's magic and miscellany, and if you're wanting to create like a treasure hoard, or you wanted to create your own magic magic items or something, you could absolutely do that, and then take some of the random tables in here. Like there's a random table for coming up with for items with a personality. So like, we've seen it before, like a magic sword that talks to you, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't have stat blocks for magic swords, but it has a random table for personalities, and it has personalities for maybe long dead heroes or villains, or it has a table for maybe people who were still alive and they were trapped in a magical item by a wizard or something. So that's really awesome. The world building stuff is, it's just incredible. It's like building a pantheon, building a realm, government, forms of government, creating an economy, establishing beliefs, guilds and unions, local color. And then there's things like random encounters and chase complications. And what's awesome is that for some of these things, it'll have like different biomes. So it'll be like, there'll be a whole table just for swamps.
Yeah.
I'm going to have
awesome.
a random encounter in a swamp. So I have a whole table of random encounters that could happen in a swamp, or a whole table of random encounters that could happen in the mountains, or that could happen in the sewers.
Right. Which is awesome because I don't know about you. My sessions, my characters can be in 3 different biomes in one session. And
Yeah,
I don't always
absolutely.
have prepped what's going to happen when they decide to dive into the water and swim a mile away. I don't know, And so it's awesome
Absolutely.
just have that readily available to roll a dice and see what happens.
There's side quests and skills challenges, environmental hazards. Some of the things like travel or chase complications. It's like, what happens if you are on foot in a town, or what happens if you're mounted in a town, or what happens if you are in a vehicle.
All right, you have dice on you. Let's run one. Say you're in the middle of a chase. You had the chase complications ready.
Absolutely.
So let's say the party is running away from a group of bandits that are interested in something the group has, and they're running down a path. What are we rolling?
Okay, well, I rolled a 3. Okay.
3. What happens?
So on the chase complications, being chased by somebody. Where did we say this was?
We'll say they're running through city streets late at night, and a group is chasing them down through alleyways.
So in these random tables, and they give great descriptions, but urban and on foot.
Okay, yeah.
A 3 is you come across a crowded marketplace full of people who block your path and bump into you as you run. Make a DC 12 strength, athletics, or dexterity acrobatics check. On a failed save, the crowd counts as difficult terrain. Fail by 5 or more, and you are grappled.
Oh, man. Okay.
So that's
really added
so cool.
An interesting twist to our chasing that we're in the middle of right there.
Yeah. And there's other things too where it's like there's the personalities, right? So the personalities tables, there's a box in the corner that says, "Hey, this could also be used for random character generation." And like you could just use these as characters or NPCs
Right. Yeah.
in a town or a village or something.
Hmm.
So it doubles for a lot of things.
Right. You can double. You can use it for a lot of different things.
Absolutely. There's also really cool. So it doesn't. So the only thing that it doesn't have is a magic items table. But and I say that meaning it doesn't have like a +1 magic item or it doesn't have like +1 sword or +2 shield or like it doesn't have like the deck of many things. Like it doesn't have different item levels and tables for that. But those are in your base D&D rules, and they're really easy to find, like on D&D Beyond or in the DM's guide for 5e, stuff like that.
Right.
However, what it does have is a magic items table for like common magic items or mundane magic items. And so it'll be really cool things that would be like, let's see. It also has like charms and curses. A charm could be like a small bead of glass that contains a sunburst of gold and can be activated as a bonus action to heal yourself or a creature of your choice within 10 feet for 7 or 2d4 plus 2 hit points. The charm can be activated 3 times before it vanishes. So you've got things like spell scrolls, which are 1 use. There's charms, which are anywhere from like 2 to, maybe 5 or 6 uses. But they're still, not permanent magic items.
Honestly, like these kind of interesting flavored mundane object like items, to me are more fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, player of course wants a +2 sword, but that's really just a stat improvement. These things can completely change how you play the game and make things more interesting or more fun. I don't know. For me, that's the kind of stuff I like more than just magic items to give you a +2. You can buy that at somewhere when you get enough gold.
Absolutely.
Like the stuff you find, I want to be fun.
But there's also things like useless items like junk.
Yeah.
A 2-foot iron key with a grinning skull on it. A large hourglass in which the sand flows from the bottom to the top. Just random stuff like that.
But I don't know if your players are like this, but my players would spend the next 3 adventures trying to make that thing do something.
Right.
And I would be like, guys, it is just an hourglass. It doesn't actually do anything. Or you make something up and you build an incredible adventure out of this upside down flowing hourglass where they have to go to a upside down dimension and I don't know, do something. But like,
no, absolutely. There could be there could be a lot of things, but I mean, there's things like there's a shipwreck, strange things in a shipwreck table. There's a ship name generator. There's books, artwork, and other valuable things. And some of the books are like ancient grimoire, which have magical abilities. And then some of them are just book titles. And most of these are D100 tables, by the way. They're not just like small tables. Right. They're like D100 awesome. Tables.
Because you almost never roll the same thing.
Right. Or for the encounters and stuff like that, they're D20 tables. But it'd be like, there's a book title, The Song of the Warbling Dragon, a book of absolutely terrible sonnets. Things like that. That's
awesome. Yeah.
Some people might think, I don't want to use, I've got to make up everything. And you absolutely can make up everything. But if you are, creating a world, though, things like this are completely fine for adding those little details, those little things that make a world feel lived in. And so, I love this.
It also gives you some, different items that your players can find. Like, because every place you go, your players are going to be looking for stuff. They want loot. Everyone wants loot. And if you're like me, in the moment, all you can think of is gold and health potions, right? And this gives you a few extra things and I may have I may have a table set out for a session where, if they roll a 17 or higher, they'll find this object, or if they roll, or whatever makes sense. And then you can use it there, but it gives it actually something unique and it gives them something to kind of be excited to look for as well. And most of those objects and most of those items are not game breaking things. It's once a day type thing. And or a random hourglass that flows backwards that really doesn't do anything. Maybe they can sell it for a couple of gold, but
And by all means, make your own random tables.
oh, for sure, yeah.
Random tables are very helpful. I mean, I've made
So,
my own random tables of names for this custom race that I have in my world. It's a race of dwarves. They're called sun dwarves. It's not super original, I know. Like, I'm sure somebody else out there has done that before, but for me, I wanted my dwarves to be a little bit different than just your basic hill or mountain dwarves.
right.
And so, yeah, I created a list of like 30 first name and last names or so to choose from. And so, they're all based off of light or the sun or gold or, things that are very kind of similar to that. So you create your own random tables. It'll help you in the moment, especially when your players are like, I just find the first random person on the street. And you're like, okay, fine. You see a man walking down the street with a cart. And they're like, okay, well, what's his name? And you're like, I don't have a name for this random guy.
Exactly.
But you can,
and we know
you
they all do
can
that.
find a name with a random table like this. So, or with
I will say,
random name generator or something.
well, something that I've been using a lot lately, and I'm going to show it here for anyone watching, is fantasytowngenerator.com. Whole website completely free.
Oh, that's
You can
cool.
go and build out your entire town. Like, you can say it's going to be a 100-person town. The primary races are this, this, and this. You can even use like homebrew races. Like in this town that I'm showing right here is Frostwind Village. The homebrew race, the primary race here, because it's a very Arctic town, is a homebrew race that I made called Frost Wardens.
Nice.
And so, but what I really like is all of these places. Like, if you can see, it'll show, if I click on a residence, it'll show you who lives in that residence. And if I click on a store, it'll show you who lives in the store. I can change the time and hours, so certain stores are closed. But I really like it because if my players talk to someone, I'll just click on a random place and I'll be like, oh, that's Juanin. And then I'll go in here later and I'll edit this character to be, oh, this is the bartender or whatever. And then I can kind of always refer back. So this site I've been using for like the last month, at least for like this town and a few other towns I've worked on, has been just so useful because it generates up everything. It generates up the map of the town, which you can go in and edit and draw it out how you want, but it'll generate up the characters, their jobs, what times they work, the inventory at the shops, and then you can go in and edit on top of that to add more inventory, take stuff away, change prices, whatever you need to do.
Absolutely. I've
always been
used
great.
that. I've also used, oh my gosh, what is it? Dungeon Alchemy, which is a AI-driven 3D map generator. It's on Steam. It's a fantastic tool.
Fantastic.
And they create all the art and stuff for it, and they release new stuff all the time.
Right.
But you can very quickly create a map.
Yeah, so it should be noted with that one, my players will never see that map. That map is just for me to know roughly where stuff is, and because I'm not, it's ugly, I know it is, but it gives me the information I need to run.
No,
Yeah,
it's cool.
it's really not bad, but I'm like you, I'm used to more Dungeon Alchemy style art, and so, but this is a great reference for me as the DM. Always keep this tab open when they're in that town. That way I can always flip back over, find a name, find a shop, find price list, or I update all the items and stuff in here too. Like right here, this is the Glorious Pommel, which is the weapons shop there. And I can always hit here to the shop and go get my price list. And I actually have added a few magical items there at the end that are outside of my character's price range right now, but they are there. But that one has been awesome. And I could see using like that tool in conjunction with like the random item table that you have and some other stuff, like to just throw in some random shops or throw in, just even for me, placing a building there that just has like, a few pieces of loot that the players could find if they stumble upon this abandoned shed,
And like I said, this book and any random tables are fantastic tools for the GM, but just things like creating an economy. This has awesome. It's not just tables. It has like guides and information on world building and like things that you should look for. It's got like little tips on, where you might get influence or what kind of magic you might want to have in your system. Yeah. So, and like I said too, there's a lot of different biome information: jungle, mountain, desert, swamps and marshlands, Arctic grasslands, hills. I mean, so many different things.
Yeah. And
Um,
that one, I mean, that book is so useful in any game that you run. I
yeah.
think you could use that on any system. You could use it, in any style of game. Like,
It even has like heraldry and crests. So
right.
like, oh, I'm gonna come to this town. What kind of livery do the
Yeah.
guards have? They have blue tabards with a crest of a lion on it.
Mhm.
All stuff in here, which is
That's awesome.
fantastic. Yeah, it's cannot say enough good things about
Oh
this.
yeah.
I have already been
And
using it for world building within
mhm.
my world of Zenelia, as well as different items and things like that my players will encounter along the way. So,
Yeah. And kind
um,
of on one of the other books too. I know you have the random encounters one
yeah,
too. Just truly, this series, I don't think we can say enough good things about. So useful.
hmm
This one actually has 8 one shots in it that you could run, but then
that's
there
awesome.
are random encounters that take place. This one's like taverns, inns, shops, and guild halls, and random encounters that could take place there.
That's cool.
So wherever your characters are, you could find an encounter that would take place, whether it's forest or in an urban area or on the sea. Like
Yeah,
there's just random encounters
that's
everywhere, and then you use them as you see
and
fit.
and you don't have to use these as true random encounters. I
Right.
mean, you can go and find something on there that you're like, oh, I want to use this in my next session.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Plan it out. I
um,
mean,
because
that's the adventure.
like there are tables for in the emergency situation where you're like, oh, I need something in the middle of a session, but you can always just take things you like. You know,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
that's kind of the beauty of it. So, and I
Absolutely.
know there's 3 one shots in this one.
Hmm.
Um, but no, that makes sense that one would have more.
That
So
one has more.
I
Yeah.
think definitely the next ones I want to get are the traps one.
The
Um,
traps one. Yes.
yeah, traps, puzzles, and
And
dungeons.
dungeons.
So
Okay. So I guess that's probably a good way to kind of wrap this up. What
yeah.
are the next 2 books that you think you'll buy in this
So
series?
I
We'll say in
don't
this.
have the encounters. I have the NPCs
Oh,
one.
you
So
have the
I will
MCs. Okay. There
probably
you go.
get the encounters and the traps one.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think that's probably what I'll do. So
And I think for me, I'm going to leave out the handbook. That one doesn't count. It's not the same thing.
oh yeah, that's
Uh,
different. So
it's different. But I think the next one is going to be the Astonishing Random Tables, which is the one you have, and
hmm
it will be the Traps, Puzzles, and Dungeons.
yeah.
I love those. They're just add-ons. You can use them in nearly every session, especially the random tables.
hmm
But then like the traps and stuff, like I was just reading through one of these traps because on Amazon it shows you a few pages. One of them's just like it's really cool. It's called Mirror Mirror, and it simply says, walking across a shimmering puddle sends a creature hurtling into a distorted, watery mirror dimension as the reflection tries to mimic it. And so, like, they're walking
It's
through.
awesome.
You can use that in any way. Like, essentially, there's no way to disarm it. There are puddles on the ground of water, and if you stare into the puddle, you get thrown in this alternate dimension.
Yeah.
And so now your characters are walking without looking down, and you could add all sorts of things in the way that would force them to have
hmm
to look down, or not look down, or try to just look up and walk through, or find other solutions. But I don't know, that one I like things like that that you can just add into your already existing game.
Oh,
Right. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, I wrote this dungeon out and I have the 3 encounters set up, but is there any way that we can make it more fun,
hmm
more interesting rather than, okay, you walk down a hallway and now you find more goblins? Like, what can we do along the way to make that interesting?
Yeah. No, they're overall fantastic book series. Highly recommend it, and they are very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Even locally at Target, it was the same
Yeah.
price as it is on Amazon. So,
I'm looking on Amazon. Every one of them is under $20 except
hmm
for the villains, minions, and their tactics, and it's $23. So
and that one might have been a little more expensive. I think probably because it's one of the newest.
yeah.
And I think it came with a forward by Matthew Colville. You said
Yes, that one has the forward by Matthew Colville.
nice. Yeah, the Astonishing Tables one has a forward by Robbie Damon. If you know
Yeah,
who
that's
Robbie
awesome.
is.
So
So yeah.
the one coming out in October of this year, not out yet, but it's the Game Master's deck of Boons and Banes. It's actually by Jenny D. So
Yeah, that'll be cool. that'd be
That one,
cool.
that one's really cool. It says 40 game-changing, character-shifting cards and a companion book for 5th edition. So that one sounds great. That one might be. It's not out yet, so I'm not gonna include it in my two because I can't buy it yet. But that one sounds fun too.
Yeah,
A
all
lot more
good.
situational than the random tables, but still something interesting to add to the game.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like I said, really, we just wanted to talk about. We were excited about these books,
Mhm.
but we also
Absolutely.
we just kind of came into it as, these are random tables. These are random encounters. These are tools to help you
Mhm.
as a GM or DM, and it's okay to use these third party things to customize stuff for your sessions or for your campaign or your world. And so these are great resources for it. Um, but you know, find what works for you. Make your
Yeah.
own random tables. Be creative, but if you don't have time to be creative, check these out.
Check
So,
these out. Absolutely. Yeah.
well, I think that's about all the time we have for today. However, don't forget, we'll be doing the Avatar Legends, which is based off
Mhm.
Avatar The Last Airbender. We'll be doing the starter box for that for our actual play in the coming weeks, and then have a review of it in our next episode. So definitely check out youtube.com/at rundown actual plays and to see the full actual play, and then, like I said, look for our review of that. Um, Also, too, Love Thy Nerd podcasts are back at it. We mentioned this last week, but definitely check them out.
Mhm.
We are a Love Thy Nerd podcast network partner,
Mhm.
and so thankful for them. Our YouTube videos are on the Love Thy Nerds YouTube channel
Mhm.
under a playlist. Right now, it's just a playlist, but I know they're converting them over to podcast lists
Mhm.
with Google getting rid of the Google Podcast app and moving everything to YouTube. So,
Yeah. Nice.
so definitely check that out. Give us a like and subscribe. Give them a like and subscribe. And then if you want to chat with us, hit us up on the socials. Follow us on X, aka Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or drop us a comment in any of our videos. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Jeff, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, we hit on some really cool stuff. These books are a great asset if you didn't know about them.
Yeah,
Honestly, they can be game changing.
absolutely. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us on the RPG Rundown podcast. From our table to yours, thanks for joining us.
Until next time, may your rolls be epic and your stories legendary.
We'll see you next time.